Awesome. Okay. Hello. My name is Johannes Kolbe. I'm with Data to Type from Heidelberg in Germany. And I'm here to talk about 3 projects we've been working on in the past, and I'm able to present to you. First off, we have a periodic table. So talking to clients or talking even in the XML language environment, there are a lot of schemas and languages that you might have heard of, or they're like you have seen but you have never used. And so we wanted to find a way how to display them in a way that you could see them in an overview and have them all together. So we have developed a periodic table, a SVG image, which you can view. I'm just showing it live. And so it's a periodic table for a few standards that we have collected or chosen. And the purpose is to display them, so they're displayed by name. And then you can hover over them. You have a description, a short description. You have a link to the page of the standard or somewhere else. Oh, there it is. And they're categorized by business languages, QA, document format, internet format. Can you see it? Awesome. And graphic format and transformation. So this should give you an overview of where a language is located, how to use it, just to present and to make it more clear. Also, we have software support down here for Oxygen. You can see how fully it's supported by Altura XML Spy and Antenna House. And then also the standard family where it belongs to. So this image we want to make available for free to use and just to distribute and just to, have a way to display different XML standards. It's on Git. It's on our repository.datatotype.de page under XML periodic table. Then, secondly, also in this XML world, we have a repository that we have been working on. So we wanted to try to find a collection of different standards and display them at once in a view that you could easily access. So we collected a lot of standards, tried to convert them and make them available online. And we have them also on our web page. It's still beta version. But what it is we have the periodic table again here. And down here, still unordered, we have an overview of existing XML standards. So they're just like different standards that we went through and tried to convert. And when you go into one, you actually get an overview of the name, of the version, the categories, and then a short description. And then down here you have an overview of attributes, elements, and schemas. And then you can go into one element, for example, and it should be displayed with an image. This is we're working on it. Not everything is fully converted, but yes. So this is like an overview of different standards. It's available for free under repository.datatotype.de. And we will continue to add new standards and develop them, and also add examples, so how to use it or where it is used. And the third, we want to present an XSLT checker. So what is that? We have a tool to check XSLTs. Over a longer time of development, it might be that schemas change or elements change, and then you try to find them again in your style sheet. So XSLT style sheets may blow up, and it's not the functionality that we're looking on, but it's just the tidiness that you can see what actually is checked and what not. And it runs, so we have XML input data, and we run it against the XSLT. We check if the functions are used, and then we output it as a text file and XML file. So for example, we would have a template that matched an alco element in the namespace ms, and now it changed to ns, and we forgot about it, like it's 10 years ago, and then we've wondered like why it doesn't check right now, or we were used to choose upon something what was right and wrong, and now we're choosing on what's real and what's fake, just to like see if the template of if the style sheets are still using it. What does it check? It checks for each groups, if, when, and otherwise functions and template. And I'm just going to demonstrate it to you. So this is the XSLT checker. We have, it's for Windows, so we have a batch file that starts it, and you can configure it in the config XML. So here you can say the data folder which contains the XML, and then the style folder which contains the XSLT. And we have a sample. So we provide a XML. In this case, we have a cocktail collection, which has different cocktails all together. And the output is the HTML. We don't really need it right now. But the main and the components XSLT, we want to check like which, we have different like for each groups, for each, and apply templates. So we want to check which one is actually working. When we run it, or when I run it, it results in a sample result. And then you can see here, it's a text file that goes in the components XSL and gives out, okay, we never used a template that matches the alc or the name. And for the next style sheet, we never used the XSLF command and what it has. So it gives you the line in the XSLT, the command, the position for xQuery, and then the attributes, what it's supposed to test. How do we do it? So the first step, we have in the temp folder, it creates a checker temp, and we run the whole XSLT style sheets through and output an overview of commands that are listed. So for each, we have a template, we have a for each function in the position and line of the components XSLT. And then for every, when we run the XML, for every function that has been used, we put out a log. So this is just like a text file that shows, okay, we used in file name components, we used for each function, and then we check, after this, we check this file against the overview of the commands, and every function that hasn't been used, we know we never used it, and then we put it out as a XML overview. So this would be the XML output. You can see the command, the name, position, line, and XSL. So what we hope is, for what would we use it for? For projects that have a long history of XSLT development. So they might be like over the years you have developed and you just want to check what is really still being checked. And also like huge data sets. So if you have like, you just want to run it through for a project that has been not used for a long time and output what is happening, what changed, and just get an overview. So you might find out that schemas have changed, and dependencies changed, or you have specific values that you have a if test that only applied to a specific attribute, and this changed during the time, and now you can revisit it and see how to improve the XSLT style sheet. It's available for free under GitHub, data to type, XSLT checker. And yes, that was it. 3 projects. We are happy, or I'm happy to hear from you, your feedback, if you see if that's usable and how you use it.
Thank you very much, Johannes. Look like interesting tools, so are there any questions? If not, I have one question. Have you considered, for example, integrating results of this XSLT checker into the Oxygen? Because I believe they have some APIs, so they can show some function which has never been called directly in the user interface, and even offering some actions like remove this function.
That would be an idea to consider.
Okay, thank you. Over there. So Francis has a question.
Yes, I like the periodic table. I think quite a lot of people like this very attractive idea. But I would imagine that there are as many different classifications of those XML standards as there are people in this room. And I just wonder how you came about with the classification scheme, and how you're going to avoid annoying lots of people when they find that their particular standard is listed in the wrong place, as far as they're concerned.
Please give us feedback. This is just, we went ahead and tried to categorize as good as possible we could do. And of course, that's true. You could, for example, HTML, you could put in different categories. But that's just something we, try to.
Okay, and there's a question from
decide.
George.
George Bina from Oxygen XML editor. It was not very clear to me if when you do the code coverage part to identify unused parts in the XSLT, if you take into account one XML document or multiple XML documents, because usually I would expect you will have like a set of XML documents rather than just one document in order to decide the representative set of documents, let's say.
Yes. So you can, in the config file, you configure a location that you can put several XML files in, and it's supposed to be that. But there's only one style sheet that you can run it against. So one style sheet, and then it can include other style sheets, but for huge sets of data.
Okay, thank you again, Johannes.
Thank you.
And I think the coffee break should be ready outside, so enjoy your coffee and some refreshments before we will start its final session.